Life on it.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Jojo. And today we are reacting to 10 best WWE career heels. Now, there's a baby face and there's a heel. The baby faces of the company are the ones people usually love. The one the company's kind of pushing to be the face of the company. Most likely the champion or trying to win the championship. So yeah, so you need the baby face, but you also need the heel. And the heel brings, like, you know what I'm saying, it's almost like the superhero and the supervillain, and people want the superhero to win so bad, but sometimes the villain wins, and sometimes you need the villain, because without the villain there wouldn't be a superhero. But yeah, man, so let's see the 10 best WWE career heels. See who they got on the list, because there's a whole bunch you can put on here that are goated and all that. So let's see.
The Oxford Dictionary defines the word heel as the back part of the human foot below the ankle. But we here at Cultaholic are here to tell you the things that they don't want you to know and let you into a big old secret. A heel ankle. But we here at Cultaholic are here to tell you the things that they don't want you to know and let you into a big...
This right here is one of the best heels known to man. At least when he was a heel, because he did babyface and heel. But bro, Randy Orton, like a heel Randy Orton is goated. Like,
old secret. A
goated.
heel in wrestling is insider
speak
for a bad guy. Shh, don't tell anyone. Kayfabe isn't dead yet. The oldest trick in the book for a promoter of any combat sport, not least the weird hybrid of sports and entertainment that is professional wrestling, is to promote a match with a bad guy people want to see punched or kicked in the face. The most lucrative combat sports match of all time wouldn't have existed without the pompous, win-at-all-costs, arrogant heel persona of Floyd Money Mayweather, and the same can be said for much of WWE's history of memorable matches, moments, and pay-per-view lineups. In wrestling, some of the characters are predestined to be heels, while others are born out of their performers' less likable personality traits. And in the WWE, the heel is most often remembered for providing the more visceral of audience reactions, for antagonizing one too many a grandma, and for being the perfect The heel is most often remembered for providing the more visceral of audience reactions, for antagonizing one too many a grandma, and for being the perfect foil to a good guy worth cheering for. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and these are the 10 best WWE career heels.
Who they got, yo.
Join us. Number 10, the Honky Tonk Man. The Honky Tonk Man was such a despicable heel that the WWE had him hold the Intercontinental...
This is before my time, but I know of him. Obviously, I haven't really seen his matches and stuff like that, but let's see.
...title hostage between 1987 and 1988 for 454 days. The all-time longest reign in history. It was a move of genius on their part, as at the time, fans...
The fact that they had a whole Elvis gimmick is crazy to me, though.
Clamored to see the moment when the pompous Elvis Presley knockoff would finally be knocked off his perch, and the WWE successfully built an entire mid-card around his dastardly shenanigans. The Tonk was such an unlikable fella that he still insists on playing the character on Twitter and at conventions in the current day. He was never all that great in the ring, and he probably didn't deserve to be the all-time longest reigning IC champion, but if ever there was a hated wrestler who personifies what it's like to live the gimmick, the Honky Tonk Man is that wrestler. Number 9, Ric Flair. Ric Flair's 2 WWE runs are made up of less time than one might expect, given the mountainous history of the Nature Boy's wrestling career, but in his short stint in 1992, and particularly in his run alongside Triple H in the WWE in the 2000s, Flair was able to show hints of the best ever wrestling heel character he developed in WCW, and the...
Flair was also before my time, but Flair, like, he still wrestled, you know what I mean, later on in his years, so I could see Flair.
NWA to add all-time great WWE heel to his
especially Evolution, like you were saying. With Evolution, bro, Rick did his thing, for real.
Brimming resume. Interestingly, Flair's retirement run was while working as a babyface, but given that his version of a babyface was a low-blowing, kiss-stealing, limousine-riding son of a gun, then we suspect his inclusion shan't ruffle many feathers. Number 8, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase was such a dick that he once promised a child a great $500 if he could bounce a basketball 10 times, then kick the ball away on the 9th bounce. DiBiase was a heel persona through and through. His moniker, the $1 Million Man, just about said it all, but when he introduced the $1 Million Championship and subsequently paid off classic superstar after classic superstar on his way to the top of the card, his place in history was taken and his leg...
What y'all think about the belt? I know as a kid when I seen it, because I think they reintroduced it again later on. I thought it was alright. Like, it's kind of cringe, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's not different.
He sealed as an all-time great WWE bad
I like
guy.
the gimmick, though.
And who could forget that laugh? Oh, that laugh. Number 7.
During the Stars and Stripes sale at Ashley, save up to $700 on select Beauty Rest Black adjustable set.
Randy Orton.
Thank
It's
you.
arguable that Randy Orton and his huge Viper hasn't been a
We need a
career
Randy.
heel at
We need a
all,
Randy.
and that in fact he's been a babyface for just as much of his run. But if you are to
heel
look back
Randy
at Orton's
is goated,
WWE
bro. I don't
career
know
with
who's
any
better
sort
than
of
heel
fondness,
Randy,
then
bro.
those moments you arc back to are likely those of his
The
bad
best
guy
heel
days.
WWE
The
has
times he was
had,
spitting
bro.
in Mick Foley's face,
Yeah.
RKOing Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
onto a car bonnet, sadistically kissing
Yeah.
Stephanie McMahon after
Bro,
knocking her out.
he was a
Orton
savage.
as a
He
good
was a
guy.
demon. Like, bro, Rick. Randy, bro, top tier heel, bro. Like, one of my favorite wrestlers,
laboured
too,
and
to do it.
clearly
'Cause he can do the
uninspired,
babyface, too.
waiting for
but
his
heel
moment
run,
to grab a crowd-popping RKO
crazy.
out of nowhere, but heel Orton is often much more arrogant, sadistic, and natural to Orton the person.
Where the voices
and the matches
came in
he
his
produces
head, like-
are often of a much higher quality. Whereas Orton's 15-year career to this point may be looked at overall as an impressive one, his heel days in isolation deserve far greater recognition
Bro,
than
dead
just
ass.
another top
Top
guy.
tier
Number
wrestler,
6,
bro.
Edge.
Oh my
the
God.
ultimate
Yes,
opportunist, the
yes.
rated R superstar, the
Okay.
live sex celebration
Yeah.
performing, spearing Mick Foley
Edge's
through a flaming
heel run was
table,
crazy
marrying his
too,
way
bro.
through Vicky Guerrero to the top of the roster, sleeping with one of his best friend's
Yeah.
long-term girlfriends. Edge is an 11-time WWE World
Man's
Champion.
got a-
Need
got a
more be said?
long
This
rep-
dastardly
rep
heel
sheet,
whose
yo.
career was boosted off the back of sleeping with Lita while she was still in a relationship with long-term boyfriend Matt Hardy
Bro,
is best remembered for moments in
I'm
which he
telling
took
you.
an opportunity when nobody else saw it coming. Cashing in 2 Money in the Bank briefcases to
Yeah.
become world champion, including
Edge
one
is,
after
bro,
stealing
another
said
top
briefcase
tier,
from an
bro.
unfortunate
And him
Mr.
and the
Kennedy.
crazy part is him and Randy was.
Sure, during an early
was it,
run, he
rated
ran
RKO?
wild with
Like,
childhood
when they
hero
were
Hulk Hogan
tag
as a
team?
babyface, and he even had a brief period of playing the good guy at the end of his career too,
Crazy.
but everyone's secret wrestler crush was always too good looking and too damn good at being a borderline
Like, bro, when he had that face just like this, bro. That shit was hilarious. Yo, look at Jim Ross on the left. Bro, he like... He's like, bro, he about to go crazy. He looking sadistic, bro.
psychotic creep that almost his entire
Yeah,
career was spent
Edge
as a
is
heel,
goated too,
and
bro.
often the top heel in the company. Number
Yeah.
5,
Top.
Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has reinvented himself so
That's a
many
fact.
times
Chris
that he's
Jericho,
still
too.
one of the biggest names in the industry nearly 30 years.
Y'all mess with long hair Chris Jericho or short hair Chris Jericho? Like, out of his runs, like, which one y'all feel like is better? Because personally, I watched like a little bit of the long hair Jericho, and a lot of the stuff I watched later on when I got older. But short hair Jericho, when he came back, was pretty fire.
Years after his professional debut. The current New Japan Pro Wrestling star has
And
donned
now he got
many
the
a
long
cap
hair
on
again.
both
Like, now he got the long hair, and he just look like he need to stop wrestling for real, for real.
sides of the babyface heel spectrum over the years, but never has he been more over than while playing a bad guy. Whether it be the monotone
he's a good
best
heel,
in the
too.
world at what I do,
He
Jericho,
gon-
the
he
pompous
snapping with
self-proclaimed savior that was Y2J, or the list-making best friend Jericho of his most recent run. In his illustrious career, Jericho has been crowned champion more times than you can probably count. Try it, you won't be able to, trust me, but has never been WWE World Champion as a babyface. Jericho, despite all his flash in-ring prowess and
he had
babyface
to be a
good
heel
looks,
to get it
was
done.
simply born to provoke audiences and was even nearly arrested for attempting to do so in Brazil back in 2015 when he kicked the nation's flag, an act that almost incited a riot.
Please accept my apology for stepping on your wonderful flag.
Y2J Chris
Damn,
Jericho is
he went
beloved,
that
sure,
crazy?
but mostly for being an all-time great WWE heel.
Nah,
Number 4,
facts.
Brock Lesnar. It's
I can see
so
Brock,
easy to
hell
hate
yeah.
Brock Lesnar. He shows up for work, doesn't say a word,
Yeah.
and goes home again with what is rumored to be $500,000 to his name.
Damn.
If we, the so-called
Damn.
WWE Universe, are lucky enough, we'll get a match 4 or 5 times per year where he'll inevitably win via suplexes and more
That's
suplexes
a
in
fact.
short-lived encounters for which he'll take home $500,000. He's presented as the ultimate prize fighter, the non-WWE conformist who's there to take home money.
I ain't gonna lie, his UFC run was crazy too. Like, he tried to fight too. He big as hell. Like, When you that big, bro, you better be putting in some work. Because if not, that's crazy.
Not to live his dream, please the fans, or achieve anything of real substance. And it sort of works.
Yeah.
Lesnar, with advocate Paul Heyman, has been at the very top of the totem pole in the WWE since the second he returned, and has been gifted title reigns and moments that any heel in the history of the business would die for. Only he could be such a dick as to end The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Even as
That's
a youngster,
fact.
Lesnar was
He did
often
beat
presented
The
as a
Undertaker
heel,
streak.
owing much of that positioning to his threatening demeanor, natural physical prowess, and gorilla-like face. Who could cheer a guy like that?
Whoa.
Even as a youngster, Lesnar was often
Gorilla-like
presented as a
face?
heel, owing much of that positioning to his threatening demeanor, natural physical prowess, and gorilla-like face.
Yo, what type of picture is this? My man's violating Brock. That's crazy.
Who could cheer a guy like that? He's hardly someone you want meeting your poorly child at a Make-A-Wish event, is he? Number 3.
Hurry to Value City Furniture for brands like Ashley and Broyhill, now up to
Bruh,
70%
Ashley,
off, with sofas from
Bruh, shut up,
$299, reclining.
shut up.
3. Rowdy Roddy
I don't want them
Piper.
dusty
The most
ass
iconic
couches, bro.
WWE superstar of the rock and wrestling era, not to be Hulk Hogan, Rowdy Roddy Piper was a revolutionary heel whose work is still mimicked and remixed in the world of wrestling today.
Again,
Arguably
like,
the greatest talker of all time, Piper
from
just
what I
had
watched,
a
he
way
was
of
pretty
getting into
cool
his
too.
opponent's head, and he always had a loose cannon vibe that would switch his sarcastic and pompous persona into a dangerous and scary one in the space of one small glance or just a couple of words. Piper was so good, he was asked to return to the WWE and host talk show segments right up to his death,
Facts.
providing memorable moments opposite the likes of The Shield as part of what would be his final swan song, never once losing his touch for creating a believable level of unhinged that would have you invest in his every word.
Going crazy.
Number 2, Vince McMahon.
Oh,
During a
yeah.
time when the greatest
Oh, yeah.
anti-hero babyface
You
in
gotta
the
put
history
Vince.
of the business was wreaking havoc on
You
the
gotta put Vince.
WWF, he was opposed by
you're not
arguably the
putting
most
Vince, what you
believable
doing?
on-screen heel figure in the history of wrestling, the owner of the company.
Bro, you could even argue like Vince McMahon was probably the number one heel, bro. Out of all the wrestlers, like you could really say that. The owner of the company, bro, was dead ass the top heel. Like out of all the times, bro, of all those wrestlers that we've already talked about, like Vince's heel run was crazy, bro. Like he was, and he's the boss, so it's like it makes it even worse. Like he's using his power, you know what I mean, with his heel run, and this just works. It works every time.
Company, the head booker, the head of creative,
Yeah.
the man in charge of everyone's fortunes and every storyline twist and turn,
Facts, bro.
Mr. McMahon. When Bret Hart infamously wrote the letters WCW in the air live on WWE pay-per-view and spat in the face of Vince McMahon, the worst kept secret in WWE was out. The guy who used to commentate on the show is the owner of the
Yeah.
company.
I
What
heard
followed
about that. I
was
remember
Bret
all that.
Screwed Bret and the genesis of the Mr. McMahon character, the ultimate villain to Stone Cold Steve Austin's all-time great babyface, the evil necessary for fans to truly invest in those who opposed him, ensuring that while everyone wanted to see what he'd be involved in next, they wouldn't go as far as to cheer the guy. Where the Mr. McMahon character stops and Vince McMahon begins is anyone's
I remember
guess,
that.
and we've all heard a shoot interview or two that attempted to paint him as the spawn of Satan. But whether it's all character or all human underneath, Mr. McMahon is an all-time great
Oh, yeah.
WWE heel.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1, Triple H. Starting
Triple
as a
H, huh?
posh aristocratic
Number 1?
Frenchman and transitioning through a solid anti-establishment age in which many people forget he was the heel,
He is
Triple
a
H
heel
came
too,
into his
though.
own
Nah,
in the
that's a
late
good pick.
1990s by
That's a good
establishing
pick.
his The Game moniker and crawling over the likes of great babyfaces Mick Foley
Especially when he was in Evolution, bro. The leader of Evolution, he was causing havoc, bro.
and The Rock on his way to the top.
Yo,
Fast forward just a
man,
little
spit on
while
him,
to
it's
his
crazy.
days as the head of Evolution,
Yeah,
and
you
the
feel
boss's
me?
son-in-law was almost exclusively world champion on Raw for a year and a
Hell
half,
yeah.
playing his on-screen character in such a way that leaned into his close connections to the boardroom. He was always a consummate professional in the ring, and the
Look at
sort
his
of wrestler
face,
who'd
man.
9 times out of 10 produce a top-level match, but in being married to Stephanie McMahon,
Right.
the heir to the company,
Right.
there have always been rumors of him using his sway to bury various wrestlers. In being the COO of the company and the
now
head
he
of talent
owns the-
relations,
now
and
he
having been a
owns
part
it,
of
bro.
creative meetings since the late 90s, around the time of his first big push, Triple H
He
has
runs that
adopted
shit
many of
now.
the burdens of his father-in-law, one of them being the natural nuclear level of heat that comes with such a role. Like Mr. McMahon, Triple H has used this to his benefit, creating an all-time despicable heel whose dastardly ways transcend that of it, one of them being the natural nuclear level of heat that comes with such a role. Like Mr. McMahon, Triple H has used this to his benefit, creating an all-time
I'm gonna be so for real, right? That mustache is the worst thing any man could have on their face. That shit look crazy. It looks like you literally missing mad hair for no reason, and you did it on purpose. That shit look like a upside down smile. That shit look like a dead squirrel. That shit look like the damn, I don't know, that shit's horrible, bro. Yeah, Triple H, don't ever do that again.
Despicable heel whose dastardly ways transcend that of his character's actions and into backstage politics. Only Triple H has gone one step further than the boss by being an all-time great in-ring performer at the same time. So that's our list. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and you can follow.
Alright, y'all. Nah, that was some good choices he chose, bro. Like I said, the heels just as important as the babyface. Randy, definitely. I'm so happy to have Randy Orton on there. Vince McMahon, I wasn't even expecting, but that's a fact. Vince, like I said, Vince might have been the top heel ever, bro, for wrestling or WWE. Like, just worked so well. But yeah, man, you know I love these WWE videos. There's gonna be a lot more coming. And yeah, man, it's been JoJo. Till next time, man. Peace.